But if you had a state, what does the Bible command? It says you must rule by the law of God, the law of Moses only, not secular liberalism, not that Western ideology you imported into the Middle East. That's not ruling according to the Tanakh, right? And what does the Tanakh say about those who don't rule by God's commands, who doesn't abide by God's commands, that you will be kicked out of the land as a punishment? It says it in the Tanakh. So if you want to bring religion into this, you can if you want to, but it doesn't support you. It only condemns you even further.
I'm going to pick up on the point about the Tanakh and Israel being ruled under the law of Moses in a Torah state. Now, I'm not sure if you've been to yeshiva and got samicha. There are people in this audience that do have rabbinic ordination. But let me, if you will indulge me, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you what we call in Hebrew a shiur, a little Torah lesson. The great Jewish scholar Rambam, Maimonides, who was born in 1138, uses the example of the Chashmonoim, the Maccabees of the Jewish festival of Hanukkah, who after defeating the Greek and reclaiming the temple in Jerusalem, appointed a king from a tribe of priests rather than from the tribe of Judah, which is forbidden according to Jewish law halacha. Yet despite the fact it was forbidden, nevertheless, Rambam, one of the greatest sages of our times, Maimonides, rules, we must celebrate the fact that Jewish sovereignty returned. The Rambam goes on to emphasize that we must thank God for every single year of Jewish sovereignty in Israel, no matter what the sovereignty looks like. Ramban Nachmanides, born in 1194, says, he particularly emphasizes that the mitzvah, the biblical commandment of re-establishing sovereignty in the land of Israel, which applies to all generations, is not to abandon her to the hands of any other nation. All this proves from a Jewish religious perspective that national independence of Israel is so important that it's better to have a secular Jewish state than not to have a Jewish state at all. In addition, the Maharal, the great sage from Prague, born in 1525, and Rabbi Abraham Kook, who was born in 1865, speak about Al-Chalta de Geula, the beginning of the redemption before the Messiah, and explains that it's possible to know how the redemption will be by looking at the opposite, the exile. Exile is characterized by three aspects: from our natural place, being scattered, and servitude. Conversely, the signs of redemption are the return to Israel, the gathering and unification of the nation, and independence. These great Jewish rabbis state that the founding of the state of Israel is the beginning of that process. And finally, let's talk about the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law, the books that rabbis have to study to become rabbis, which was written, by the way, in Safat under Ottoman rule. The Shulchan Aruch says that one who sees the cities of Judea in their destruction must say your holy cities have become a desert and tear his clothes. What's the definition of destruction that obligates the tearing of one's clothes? It's the halachic the Gemara teaches us, the Talmud teaches us that the law of tearing garments came from the story of the people who came to Gedaliah, the governor of Judea, and tore their clothes on the destruction of Mitzpeh, a Jewish city, despite the fact that many Jewish residents lived there. And from here, the sages teach us that even if Jews live there, they're considered to be in destruction if the Arabs rule over them. And finally, Reb Moshe Feinstein, the greatest ultra-Orthodox sage of modern time, so don't lecture me about Jewish law, says that even though through our many sins we've still yet to be redeemed by the Messiah, one should not tear his clothes when he sees Jerusalem, because in God's kindness it has been gloriously built up and is not under the rule of non-Jewish nations.